Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the smartest dumb people. I am the host, Anthony That Dude Johnson. I'm sitting there with my right hand man, LV the Great, and TV himself, Mr. Shabazz. We got a lot to talk about. We had to go live today, y'all. We just had to. Make sure y'all phone. We had to go live. So, with all this thing going on, and today alone, so they just found out, old boy that was shot in the back 8 times. What's his name, LV?
Shit.
We just looked it up. Anyway, old boy that was shot in the back 8 times. The officers would not be charged. So the discussion on First Take today was should the NBA boycott? If people don't know, the NBA, when he originally first got shot, the NBA boycotted one game. I think they said on a Tuesday's game, and then they came back the next day and played. So the issue is, y'all done sharing yet? Y'all good?
No, go ahead.
So the issue is the NBA First Take today. They was like, should the NBA boycott? And this is what bothers me about athletes trying to be in control of the narrative for social injustice and all of these other things. They're showing they're just basketball players. They went from this is the top of our agenda to what happened? And that's what society has brought us to. We are allowing athletes to control the narrative for us. Like we need politicians. We need people that works on social injustice and shit like that. I don't want LeBron. No offense to LeBron. Thank you for everything you've done for the black community. But I don't want LeBron to be in charge of nothing because he's still in media's eye. He's still going to be told to just shut up and dribble. And what did he do today? Because they're playing right now. Right. He just shut up and dribbled. Right. This is the same guy that we were mad and outraged about him being shot in the back 8 times, and the NBA players made us proud for one day and said, yeah, you're right. We're not going to play today because we mad y'all shot him in the back 8 times. After he was shot in the back 8 times, y'all got back out there. Y'all got y'all asses back out there and shut up and dribble the next day. Granted, during the interviews, y'all made it sound like y'all was compassionate and concerned. Okay?
Had their jerseys on.
Had their jerseys, everything. And then when the announcement came out today, it should have been no discussion. We're not playing. And that's what happened. They did, and it gets worse. So, and then this brings us to a black man, days before the NBA regular season started, was murdered in his own driveway in Columbus, Ohio. I think it's LeBron James' home state too.
No, that was in Kenosha, Illinois.
Okay.
Which led to the shooting with the young motherfucker with the dude that ended up popping 2 dudes, and he was there and came down with the militia to protect.
So that's what started that?
Yeah, that was the catalyst to that whole situation.
No, the catalyst was the man that was shot in the back.
Right. And so then they was going to protest.
Yes.
And so then the Rittenhouse guy, he came down to defend or protect or whatever he called bizarre self-doing.
Janice said they're always going to call out the players, but this is the problem. And I'm telling you, I'm not an athlete anymore, obviously. But I'm saying if I was able to get paid and I had $250 million in my bank account, I promise you, the first thing I could do is use my voice for good. I'm not asking LeBron James to be our leader. I'm asking LeBron James, when you do something, stick to that shit. Because it makes us look weak. It makes us look weak as people when our leaders, I have to say it, because you get offended by that as well as I do. That's what they want them to be, our leaders. As our leaders are arguing about something and complaining about something, we boycott, and then this same thing is occurred and nothing was done about it, and y'all still get out there and play. If you go watch, the NBA is on TV right now, and this is the same day that these men was, I don't want to call it acquitted because they ain't go to trial or nothing. They just wasn't no charges going to be brought up for what they did.
They operate with immunity. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. That's not the police.
Can't say that.
No. All right, hold on. Now, hold on. Time out.
Make sure y'all like us. Hold on. Make sure y'all like and share right now. Before we get deep, because we got some topics today.
Yeah.
Make sure y'all like and share right now before we get into it, because we need all y'all comments.
Okay, y'all see what we got here? This is my guy, Mike Mo. He
It's Magic Mo, right?
Well, his name is Mike Mo, but the seasoning is Magic Mo.
Yeah.
Successful black man. You know what I'm saying?
Very successful.
Cool black man.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You meet him, you won't even know that this man owned multiple businesses and operating at the clip that he operating at. Y'all can get these products right here. Low sodium, because I know a lot of y'all got high blood pressure. But that's okay. Because these products will allow for you to season it up. And so y'all can go to Harambe Jackson
and Brian
Bolden to
purchase
these seasonings. But shout out to my guy. I had to get him on here. You know what I'm saying? I'm proud of him. You know what I'm saying? As I'm proud of any black entrepreneur that's doing anything positive.
For sure.
I'm definitely proud of him.
All right, so after we did our little shout out to them, we did our drop for B's seasoning.
Mike Mo.
Yeah, Mike Mo.
Mo's.
They running it down here.
Mo's Magic
Dust. But you want to holler at B or
right.
B?
Let's get it right.
Okay.
But that's okay. We make mistakes.
She said, "Can you tag him?"
I can.
He should speak. He's in the comments right now.
Mike Mo in here?
Not Mike Mo himself, but B and
Harambe,
yeah.
Dooley, tag where they can get the seasoning from.
I want to get back on topic though, because this shit is touchy to me, and the reason it's touchy to me is because I'm really tired of what we go through as black people, and it's crazy how these men with millions of dollars, like we hurting our brand just having this conversation, right? But I'm not even worth $50. I don't got $50 in my bank account. Well, I'm saying, like, if people that wanted to purchase our show or wanted to discuss some shit with us, we're hurting our brand because we're talking about shit that they don't want to talk
conversation?
about. Yeah, but I'm saying that a man worth $250 million should have no problem with having that conversation. I'm just saying he's already set in stone. He's rich forever, man. So
but now, that don't take away from the fact that he's an entertainer. And he not only entertains us, he entertains millions upon billions of people from the United States to across seas. And so, we are the only nation of people that have entertainers as political leaders. They're not going to go to Yao Ming. And so, if they having some racial garbage going on in China, Yao Ming ain't gonna be the spokesman for that. You know what I'm saying? If they got something going on in any other nation, they're not gonna be the spokesman of that. And so now, with that said, to unpack how I feel.
How you feel, Leo?
And so how I feel is that they was pushing this narrative of Black Lives Matter, cops shooting unarmed or individuals, however the case. But here you have a black man that was shot and murdered in his driveway the day before Christmas.
Sick.
No response. No activists. Nobody shows up. Nobody comes to march.
What the fuck happened to Black Lives Matter?
The election was over. You know what I'm saying? The election was over. And so it doesn't make sense for us to continue.
We're going to take a Kareem, but we can't take it right now, though.
It don't make sense for us.
No.
Which one?
Link for what?
Kareem Robinson put a link on there, but keep going.
It don't make sense for us to continue to have individuals who have no political knowledge at all, who don't understand the political strategies that's being used to sheep us into an election. This man coming out there, LeBron James standing out there talking about some Black Lives Matter. They on the court kneeling, you know what I'm saying? And we all behind it. Like,
man, they boycotted for about 2 days last year.
Oh man, they weren't trying to do nothing.
And like I said, we gotta keep this in mind too. The NBA season started on December 25th. I think the man was murdered on December 22nd. And like I said, my brain is fried. That's why I'm one of the smartest dumb people. I know what I'm talking about, but I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm very close. I'm in the parameter. But anyway, I'm saying, like, the problem that I have with these players speaking up for us is that when it's really go time, it's not go time. It's a pretend. It's a pump fake.
It's set up from the word.
It's an up and under.
It's go time now.
Go ahead.
You think LeBron got everything to do with once the NBA season first started, and they had all them logos on the back, everybody's jersey.
With that.
See, that's an NBA ploy. See, they always gearing us to go down this one lane, and LeBron is just rolling with the league. And that's why I hear Easy rolling with Bron because he talk about this shit. He could talk about it all day, but he ain't no Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah,
he ain't nobody that put his check and his career on the line. Well, he just do that shit for like 2 days. People ride with it, and then he right back to getting that money.
You know what I'm saying?
All this kneeling, all that shit don't matter in what's really going on in our lives. If
facts,
a motherfucker dying out here, and we know that it could be our cousin, brother, sister, auntie, uncle, grandma, any other day, we need more than you to fucking kneel. We need more than you to just come on and say something. We've been talking about this shit for 100 years. Like, we get so
more than
distracted.
That, right.
That's why we ain't heard about that black man during Christmas, because it's Christmas time.
Right.
We're distracted.
Right.
There's so much going on. You see what I'm saying? So we have to get a little bit more serious about this. And this is, a lot of people ask me, well, what does that have to do with your nationality? And what does that have to do with private versus public? Because you're putting yourself in a status to where you're not 3/5 of a human being no more. You're not just a non-human. See, that's what's really going on. That our people are non-human, so when they kill you, that's where you talking about the immunity kicks in. Because they don't get in trouble for killing something that's not human. They don't get in trouble
at all. Right.
And we don't want to talk about. We don't want to have that conversation that you are not human as a black person.
So you still feel like the 3/5 of a human being is still in play?
Problem. It is. When did it not get in play?
So I don't know when they took it out.
We would have had a conversation to know that they took it out. We would have a point to go to, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So where we could say this happened and we not that no more. No, we're still that. We was just talking about this when we was on our way up the steps. When OJ killed Nicole Simpson, he got off, right? But that wasn't it for the Simpson family. They went to court and got a civil suit and got that money.
Right.
At least we could hit them in the pockets when they're killing us unfairly. So we have to start having this conversation. But us just getting revved up, us just letting an athlete get on the motherfucking TV and mention it, and then kneel down.
That's all they got to do is say it.
Now, here we is in the fourth quarter, worrying about who winning the goddamn game. Like,
if that's all
everything that's going on.
If that's all they got to do is say it. You know what I'm saying? If all they got to do is say that they care, that means it's true.
Well, the problem is that we got.
Not saying that they don't care, but go ahead.
We got to get out. We got to get out of the what the media tells us. Period.
Exactly. The media is driving our whole agenda.
Regardless of if it's coming from an athlete,
which means a corporation,
yes, or a newscast person, or whatever the case may be, we have to start thinking for ourselves. And another thing, we have to learn how to they're dividing us, and nothing is being conquered. Only on their side it is.
Yes, Lameezy, I would quit my job. That's just like when I was telling y'all about vaccines yesterday. I'm not about to get a vaccine just because my job tell me to get the goddamn vaccine. I'm going to quit. And it's crazy because when I was on my job the other day and we was moving this nurse, it was this white nurse. She said the exact same thing. She said she heard me and Leo talking about vaccines, and she was like, oh, and she jumped into the conversation. And she said, you know what? If they try to get me to get that vaccine, I'm just going to get me another job. I'm not fucking with these people. You have to, this is life and death. It ain't about money.
And I'm going
to say this again. This is about life and death with our people. This is how they've been guiding our people, by the money. Taking the goddamn fishing hook,
Meezy, you
with
have
a
to also
dollar on the end of it, and guiding us away from our people, away from our real interests. We have to start to love each other and love our livelihood.
Shout out to Nick Cannon.
My check can't be more important than my people.
Shout out to Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon lost his job, but he still got millions. And it's crazy. He didn't lose his job. He lost his fucking business. That was Nick Cannon's show. But listen,
he misspoke though.
This is Taylor to Lameezy saying, "Would you quit your job?" Listen, if I'm making $15 an hour, hell no. But if I made $250 million and I have a contract that says it's guaranteed for my family, and I have a life insurance policy, I have real estate investments, and my people are being murdered and slaughtered every day, and I'm telling you, I care about that shit. Hell yeah, I would quit my NBA job. I'm playing fucking basketball.
So you for sale?
To my
He's
people.
saying he not.
To my people.
No, he's saying if he making a certain amount of money, he's not. But he's saying if he's making $15, $16 an hour, he's for
What
sale.
the fuck I look like quitting and I'm already in poverty?
You're gonna remain in poverty.
If you get the money, man, look.
That's apples and
You're gonna
oranges.
remain
I'm
in
not
poverty.
feeding my people nothing I wouldn't do.
But that's my point.
I quit.
My point
I'm
is,
quitting.
You gotta quit.
I'm
you
quitting.
can't have a price when it comes to your life
That's the
and
same.
your people.
That's the same way I started a new motherfucking job, and the first thing
It's-
I asked them, and then when they got to talking about us about going back to the office, the first thing I asked them, I said, "Are y'all mandating
Tell them,
to
Andre. I
take
hear Andre.
the
Salute
vaccinating?"
Andre.
And they
Salute
was like,
Andre.
"No, we don't know at this time." I needed to know because I'm quitting. If you try to tell me that in order for me to come back to the office, I gotta
Denise,
take a shot.
This is how it's gonna happen. This is how quitting helps you with your community, because your community is being guided by these people money.
said something
we
about the
already supposed
community?
to be building our own
So if you
community
make $12
and
an hour?
creating our own jobs. I don't get, man, look.
Who
ain't
said something about- who
man,
said
look,
that?
Y'all can just stop asking me that. Ain't no dollars per hour with me.
Read that.
There is no dollars per hour.
Well,
Fuck
What'd she
college,
say?
Lameezy. I hate to say it like that. Fuck college. This is them corporations. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Look,
college is a
man,
game.
y'all should know when y'all come to me talking this shit. And no offense, I love y'all, but these corporations. This is how these people are guiding us. We supposed to have our own colleges by now. We're
LeBron-
supposed to have our own corporations that's paying
You
our
said
people.
LeBron and them
We
could've
supposed
been
to-
had a-
This is the
their own
same
police
reason.
station.
Hold on,
Yeah.
check this out. This is the same reason that the Arabs and the Africans can come into your community and make money, because we don't have the corner store. We don't have the tobacco hut. We don't have the Mega Savers, because we're
The
supposed to
liquor
have that,
stores.
but we don't think we can build that. That's the problem. That's the issue. Like he said, that's the massive issue. You can't allow these people to control you through money and then think, okay, I'm just going to help my people just enough for these people not to turn me off and let me go or not be willing to quit. If your people mean something to you, so all y'all people are telling me, all this that I'm hearing is y'all telling me, y'all really don't give a fuck about y'all people.
But the
And
white
y'all
man
don't
blocked
believe
y'all
in the
from-
Most High. Y'all
from
don't
having
believe in
it.
a higher power.
I never gave
How
an
you
answer.
do it?
Y'all
on-
believe that these
Listen,
people
I
are the higher
never-
power. Y'all believe that money is the higher
No,
power.
I never
Hold on.
gave an answer. I want to clear this up too, because I never gave an answer on whether I would quit or not. I'm just saying, like, my money, my little $12 an hour is not going to impact the whole fucking country of entertainment when it comes to basketball. That's what I'm saying. Like, we're talking about athletes that they're trying to control the narrative for us. I'm not speaking about the average working person.
Okay, well let's
But
talk
hold
about
on.
LeBron.
Hold on,
with
time out.
LeBron with his $300-400 million contract, and then he's sending so many people to college. But you sending these people to they people college.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
No,
They're still
you are sending.
indoctrinating us. You sending
You
them somewhere
are-
to get indoctrinated more. They're not learning more about us. So
You are
I can't
sending-
give you a whole lot of credit just because you giving people college degrees or not college degrees.
Hold
but
on.
college scholarships.
That's
But-
Because it's still being
But
issued.
you're not
into
giving
their
them
system.
jobs, and so what you send somebody to thousands, hundreds of $1,000s a day. I'm $89,000 in debt because I went to
Here,
college.
Hold on. This is what Andre said. When,
Hold on, I wanted
when
to
is
read
the
one.
last
Go
time
ahead.
you saw a black man build in a Chinese community? The reverse happens on the regular when it comes to us, though. When you see a black man run into a white
'Cause we
community,
ain't on
a
code with
Chinese
nothing.
community, an Arab community, and put up a store,
We ain't on
and make
code
money.
with nothing. We ain't on code with nothing. I wanted to read something.
That's the problem.
I want to read something.
And still ain't on code, because is we on code because we getting money from these people?
No,
and
you-
then $250
off
million ain't
code.
$12 an hour. So now I need to do something different.
I want to read
That don't
something.
make sense.
So, Page said, but the white man blocked y'all from having it.
This is
Having it. So how do you? Well, here go the thing. And I
love Paige. Shout out to Paige, my
yeah,
dog.
Paige.
Shout out to
cool
James
shit.
Henley. I hear
My
you,
dog.
bro.
I gotta get this out. Listen, the white man ain't blocking us from shit. You know what I'm saying? The white man can't block us from doing shit. if you run into a racist motherfucking officer or a racist motherfucking supervisor, they so low level that they don't even fucking exist. Now, the motherfuckers that is doing the blocking, the white motherfuckers that is doing the blocking, they blocking everybody. They just not blocking us. We got to move in the same parameters, the same way that everybody else do. They don't have an effect on my life. I can't speak for everybody.
But they influence the most of us. See, they ain't blocking us. They influencing us. They have big influence on us. But they don't influence Chinatown. When you go anyway, I just watched Washington D.C.
They let them motherfuckers.
It was Little China.
They
when
let
you go
them
to California. There's a Little China.
They let them motherfuckers do that.
There's a Little Arabia everywhere. No, it's not.
Them white motherfuckers can go in that neighborhood and gentrify that motherfucker anytime they want.
No, they can't.
They can go get an abandoned building.
No, they can't.
Put Hillary Clinton in that motherfucker.
No, they can't.
And then raise the property tax.
So why they ain't doing it?
Because there's no need
Because them people is together, and if they do that, they'll fuck off the money that's already coming up out of there. But they can do it to us. Because we're not together.
All right, so hold on, time out. So
we not on one unit. Like you said, we ain't on code.
No, we ain't on code. We ain't on code.
So that's how you build
So you don't
fortress.
think that if they want to go into those communities.
They don't want to. That's my point.
Why you feel like they don't want to?
Because they getting whatever they gonna get from that right there.
So why they want to come into the black community?
They gonna cause some real chaos if they go into them communities like this. But they ain't causing no chaos when they come into our community because we already broke it up.
Is that because
that's why it's so easy for them to gentrify? They just went through a hard gentrification the last 3 years.
Is that
sending us out west like ain't nothing?
And
we ain't say nothing.
30th and 24th Street.
We didn't say nothing.
So is that
they want to say something?
Is that because is it because those nations have actual nations behind them?
Of course.
That we don't actually have a nation tied
that
to
they
us.
Doing foreign trade
we
with.
call her so we call her we I call you black. The fuck is that? This hat is black. You know what I'm saying? I call you an African American that's named after 2 white people. One Africa Vespucci and the other motherfucking map making motherfucking what's the other motherfucking name? Some weird shit. But we call ourselves 2 different continents. And then we call ourselves a color. And so
there we go. It starts
why
with identity.
in the fuck we
can't identify with each other. See, these other people don't call themselves all this bullshit that we call ourselves.
No.
We black one day, Christian the next day, Moor, Hebrew,
Israelite, this, that.
These people know if they Chinese, they Chinese. If they Arab, they Arab. If they Hindu, they Hindu.
Right.
They can't be separated through the identification.
And they have a nation.
Let me go back.
And they have a nation.
Damon Wells said
that backs them.
He said, "True, Andre. The black community. Now we gonna make
Fat
this
Day.
very specific.
That's my guy, Fat Day.
We're going to make this very specific.
What Fat Day said?
The black community is the only. Let's put this out there again because some people think that everybody is doing this shit. No, they're not. The black community is the only community in the world that will allow another ethnic group to come into their community and prosper. And then he said, prove me wrong. And I wouldn't even dare to try to prove you wrong.
I can't dare.
I wouldn't even dare to try to prove you wrong.
I can't dare.
And there lies our problem. There lies our problem. So then again, let's go back to how we are statused. How we are labeled.
Okay.
3/5 of a human being. You're not a human being. These other people ain't coming in on that status. They're human beings. You do some of them, they go into court, they take you to civil court, either they're gonna get some money or they're gonna get a conviction. We can't get none of that because you're nothing but a empty box that they ran over on the street and kept rolling. And they don't, and that's where you say immunity. When they go to court, they're not getting charged like they're killing a human being.
Right.
And that's an issue that we have to face, that we have to address, but we won't do it. We keep going through the same ropes we've been doing for 80 and 90 years. When they say you keep doing the same thing over and over again,
which is insanity.
Thank you.
You niggas keep busting your head up against the wall.
I'm not going to get on that with y'all tonight. I'm not going to get on, oh, another black man was shot, oh, this and that, and now we crying and emotional and shit when we ain't did the steps that it take for us to change that.
So what steps do you think that we should take?
You got to change your status.
So when you say change the status now for the audience.
You're labeled as 3/5 of a human being, and that ain't what's only meant for black people. So when I say that, people might be, well, how we change it? You got to change back to being an American and stop being black.
So
and
we
that's
get some of
the
them
law because black has no rights in the eyes of the law.
So we can get some of them treaties
because the law runs everything.
Mm-hmm.
What statuses in the law can I change myself to?
Mm-hmm.
To become a full human being.
Right. And so now when they make that change of status, it opens you up to treaties that they have made.
All the treaties are ours.
You know what I'm saying? With treaties that are enforced. And so as long as that I say that I'm black, I ain't got no respect in no court.
Don't have it.
As long as I call myself,
has nothing to do with racism.
That's not
because
race.
We say that a person be like, well, what about white? Look, white is a status too, but white doesn't get as treated as bad as black, and none of us are none of these terms. Like you got Europeans, you got Indians, you got Chinese, you got. That's what you're true. We're Americans.
Okay.
The true copper colored people.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
I felt like we touched on that shit, and this a great, like Leland say, segue into our next topic. We got to talk about the Trump supporters storming in Washington D.C. today. One person shot, which was a woman. We don't know who she was shot by yet. She was killed. She was killed. But let's turn the tables and if this was an issue, I was gonna put on the screen, but I don't want us to get demonetized, as Will used to say. I was gonna put on the screen the difference when Black Lives Matter approached the White House.
I was speaking Hindus, James, but go ahead.
When Black Lives Matter approached the White House and during the George Floyd situation, how they had security and the National Guards out there and was prepared for that situation. The question that I have, and if you don't believe in white privilege, this is where it comes in at. They expected these Trump supporters to behave in no other manner than they expect black people to? Is that what the security wasn't there for?
No. I don't agree with that.
So what do you agree with?
Because
what do you think?
These individuals have never displayed any type of discipline, any type of behavioral attributes that will make you think that they won't go rogue. You know what I'm saying? They've been going rogue all over the fucking world.
I think you said
who is that?
The Edomites, white people, and Caucasian. Not all y'all.
Caucasian.
That's okay.
Caucasian.
That's all right. Well, calling somebody by what they is,
and don't get me wrong, it was a sprinkle of chocolate chips in there, but we already know about them. It was a sprinkle of chocolate chips.
They paid for them motherfuckers to come up. But here go my thing. They have never displayed a behavior to where someone would think that they would behave themselves. Never in the history of the United States of America. And they've been posting and they've been saying that we're going to pop up and this is what we're going to do. They've been screaming civil war. They've been screaming the militia. They're talking about they prepare for this. They prepare for that. You got all types of different groups.
And I don't want to...
That, and so, just so, once again, the powers that be, which is white people that we won't see. If you see a motherfucker on CNN,
they ain't got no power.
That's low level.
Yeah. But that's low level. This, and it's bigger than black and white because there's Latinos, there's other nations.
Yeah.
The problem that I have is the nation that stormed the majority of the nation.
So you think that was all white people?
Man, I seen the fucking videos, man. That was a majority was definitely Caucasian.
Do you think they was all Trump supporters?
We know that
they had Trump hats on flags.
All Caucasians ain't running together though, so we gotta be careful when we.
Well, hold on. All right, sorry. Go ahead. Hold on. Time out. I want to touch on that. And that's a fact because the country is majority white. If they was to unify them together, it wasn't a party, a Democratic Party.
That ain't even correct, but we're
a Democratic Party wouldn't even fucking exist. If they was on one accord, then what the black vote wouldn't matter. The only reason that the black vote matter is because they are not unified. Now, and that's when we come into play.
Let's correct that. They got to vote on black folks to be able to vote every 25 years. So what they're doing is they're using your vote when it's strategic or it's an advantage.
Okay.
So it don't matter when they want it to matter.
Well, let them know that's the civil rights. That's the Civil Rights Act that they passed. What was that? 64, and that they have to renew.
Out the 1800s.
And so the Civil Rights Act, which barred them from discriminating against.
Martin Luther King just made that shit popular.
Well, the vote right. And so what happens is that at first it was every 5 years that they would have to go back in and re-vote it. They just re-voted this year.
And with Andre, it was scripted.
They had to re-vote this year during this election year to expand it for 25 years. Because at first it was 5 years, then it went to 10, then it went to 15.
It's been 25 for like the last at least 50 years.
No, they had to vote this year on it.
I know.
And so I don't even know if it's 25. We got to fact check. We got to fact check.
Before it was 25 because I think they voted on it right before Obama got in.
Like and share. Make sure y'all like and share.
They voted on it this year.
But that's what I'm saying. If they did that, then that means
that was the 10. Yeah, that was the 10 year. Okay, but go ahead, unpack, sir.
It's again okay.
Speak what you feel though.
You got the Democratic Party. You got the Republican Party.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to be careful when we say white people because both parties is damn near all white people. Yeah. If you look at Congress, it's damn near all white people, and they split up.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to say what exactly it is. You got Republicans, which don't get me wrong, they all politicians. So all politicians have a little bit of dirt up under their fingernails. But what the Republicans are going to move with the Republic, which is how this country started. The Republic. When you're dealing with the Democrats, you're dealing with the demonocracy.
I can't even get a word.
So when you're dealing with the demonocracy, or you're dealing with democracy, which is not part of the Constitution, then you're dealing with a group of people that are trying to use the indigenous people to sway everybody. How do they do that?
White people in this shit.
Give them welfare. Give them handouts.
Okay.
See, this is why black people always felt like the Republicans were racist because they was talking about all the handouts that we get. And we feel like we should get handouts because we're in this situation, we're in that situation. No, you just need to stand up and fight. You need to fight to have your community. See, we say, oh, we don't have a community because they're infiltrated.
But them handouts is to everybody now.
We're supposed to stand up and fight for the community that we're supposed to have.
The majority of the motherfuckers that get the handouts ain't us. We don't make up enough percentage of the population.
And when you say handouts, you
to be the majority.
The other people that are getting the handouts aren't influenced on how they break up their community on these handouts. We break our goddamn whole community up. Just like he just said, 250 million. He ain't speaking no shit. This is just what he said. It's my nigga. I love the deal. He said $12 an hour. I'm talking. I ain't getting enough. I'm about to call some shit. This is what I'm hearing. This is the interpretation I'm hearing.
Get that
250 million. If I'm LeBron, I'm going to do just what LeBron do. I'm going to come out and boycott for 2 days and then I'm going to go right back to playing basketball.
I didn't necessarily say
get that nigga off that nab.
That's the interpretation that I get. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I was definitely not on no motherfucking side.
Get that nigga off that nab.
All this welfare, housing, all these handouts they've been giving us has influenced the way that we have treated each other and how we feel about each other and how we will come together with each other. And like he said, again, Fat Day, damn it,
my guy, my nigga, Fat Day-O.
We are the only people on the planet that go for this shit like that. But you can hand out these other people, they'll take it, but they ain't separating for you. And they're going to be ready to go to war with you if you be on that bullshit.
Now, I can agree with that. I do agree with.
And so at the end of the day, people don't want to stand up and fight.
We ain't on that
together.
Yeah, we ain't on that smoke.
All right,
that's just like, hold on, time out.
All 25 people in the party. What we going to do is, I want y'all to call y'all boss right now, and I want all of y'all to fucking quit.
Hey man, get this nigga off that nab. Who put that nigga on that horse? You know what I'm saying? Who put that? But now that's the same way. Even with the racial tension, that is public. That motherfuckers know. These young men our young men are still riding around in our community,
murdering each other,
looking for someone to smoke. Point that gun.
We're not teaching them.
Point that gun somewhere else.
Them.
But
and they tired of school. They're tired of hearing lies.
But once the motherfucker,
it's an energy in them.
But once the motherfucker passed,
tired of all that.
Once the motherfucker passed,
we was tired of it.
Once the motherfucker passed 60th, it's how you doing, man?
Hey, how you doing, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Exactly.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
So,
hold on, take your hat off.
So again, you're talking about a level of self-hate that's going on.
And them niggas are.
Talk about
them niggas are tighten up. Them niggas take your hat off, nigga. Hold on, we out here. We can't do that out here. But as soon as they reach back 60th, nigga, put your hat back on. Take your flag out, nigga. Where the strap at? Let me park right here. Let's go get the gun and put the shit back in the car. And so, if you have sense enough to know that when you pass a boundary to straighten up, you should have that same sense when you come back into that boundary.
It's called fear.
To tighten.
They done riddled us with fear. And don't get me wrong. Okay, so and this thing is deeper than where we at. So let me try to even make it a little bit more clear. This is our land. We're the true Americans, the copper-colored people. So these people have more of an incentive to put the pressure on us and what they did to us over the years because this is our land. All these people that's coming from these places, the Arab and Chinese, all that, they're operating in our house. So it's more of an incentive for these people to put the pressure on us and keep us down. And they use more tactics to actually keep us down. So this is what's going on. So we gotta
say what Damian Wells said.
To these other places, but this is our house.
Exactly.
They took over our house, so this is why we got most of the problems.
Damian Wells said the federal government discriminates, and actually the federal government actually practiced discrimination in home ownership programs. Facts, redlining. He's basically saying that the home ownership programs was practicing discrimination.
Yeah, they were.
Well,
this is how we ended up in what you would call the projects, and then I had to ask myself, why would they call it the projects? This is a project; it's an experiment.
So, do you think that
into these places?
So, do you think that home ownership would change the behavior of how we behave in our community?
It's a step.
Because most of the people
control your community.
Most of the people in our community that own homes is black. You know what I'm saying? And even if they ain't homeowners, the majority of the people in our community, in our neighborhood, are black. And so, the project only housed 300 motherfuckers.
That's a lot of motherfuckers.
Okay.
You said that like that. 300 homes in a community, in a.
But it's a house.
In a 4 mile radius.
Hold on. So it's a roof over your head. So an individual that has a roof over their head automatically becomes violent or fucked up or unproportionately unsociable to operate in society because he's staying in a housing unit that housed 300 motherfuckers.
Well, you gotta understand what comes with that in those housing.
Yeah, it's a lot to come with that.
Give
me an example.
The living conditions. A lot of these people. You gotta understand. I'm a project. I'm a project baby.
Give me an example.
Living conditions is number one.
Yeah. Okay. Are you talking about rats, roaches? Talking about
roaches.
No daddy there.
No daddy there.
I ain't got no yard outside. Every time
my mama gotta walk to the store.
I gotta listen to these niggas playing their music.
And you gotta walk by 5 niggas that will kill you.
Yes.
And that make a motherfucker go. Let me get this gun.
What happens is.
Hell no.
You get slapped a couple times.
That's a fucking excuse.
You get bullied, picked on.
That's a fucking excuse.
Listen, it's not. It's facts, Lee.
What are you talking about? I lived in the projects.
Sick. I didn't know that.
I lived in the projects.
What projects?
I lived in Vietnam.
I didn't know that.
And then went and hung out in Vietnam.
Would you act different living in your own home versus the projects?
No.
That's bullshit, man.
Yeah.
Hold on, time out.
You need to cut it out, man.
Well, hold on. No, I'm being honest to God.
The
no cap.
Was fun, but it was
no
dangerous.
Cap.
and
Listen.
very violent.
Hold on, my bad.
You have to
no
be
cap.
different.
Hold on, time
Not
out.
to.
No cap.
No, it ain't even a choice.
Hold on, time out. Hold on, time out. Because living in the projects doesn't mean that you want to, that every day is violent. Every day
No,
is
yeah, good
chaos.
times, bad times.
Every day is confusion.
Can I say this?
You know what I'm saying?
My kids lived in the community,
It's a
and
lot.
they never had it. It wasn't a happy or sad day. It was normal. It was a normal day. So you just brought up a point. I'm gonna say. I gotta say this. Let me get out, LB, because I ain't said shit.
Go ahead.
All I'm saying to you is, when I lived in the project, you just said exactly what we didn't. When we walked outside, we didn't know what the fuck to expect.
You don't know what to expect.
When my kids
That's
walked
gonna change your
outside,
behavior right
when
there.
my kids walked outside, all they had to worry about was the fucking weather.
You was 5.
I don't give a fuck.
What the fuck is you talking about? This nigga acting like he was 17, 18 in the projects. You was 5.
Anybody know my story? My mama made me fight damn near half of fucking the projects when I was 13.
So that was your mom.
No.
In your own house.
No.
But hold on. So hold on.
My mom said, you gonna fight this nigga today?
I ain't gonna.
Well, hold on. Well, what if you had
Come on,
bullies?
get your ass
So
whooped every day.
what if y'all was in a home and you had bullies, and she still forced you to fight?
But why would I have bullies in a great community?
Because motherfuckers bully motherfuckers. That's just
You
life.
trying to normalize the projects.
I hear you, Denise Crawford.
Ain't nobody trying. Listen.
You're trying to normalize.
Ain't nobody trying to
these projects,
normalize
these,
the projects.
conditions. You
All
can't.
I'm saying is that it's not enough motherfuckers that live in the projects
We might have
to say that
extreme-
it's a social issue. What are you talking about?
I'm saying-
You know what I'm saying? You trying to talk like that.
Shit.
You
I'm from
were
the
made to
projects.
fight in the projects. Who gives a fuck? I'm from the projects.
Did you have to fight every day?
No.
Oh, okay. You also was 6'4".
No. I was a fucking kid. I was 5.
Well,
I went to kill him.
dog. So
That might have been your personal situation, but for most motherfuckers I know, their situation is switched up on their living conditions and staying right next door to a motherfucker, not even having no yard, having to come outside every day and deal with motherfuckers that you don't want to see, or having aggressive
what about the
motherfuckers.
clothesline hangers and all that shit? They gonna argue over all that.
Then you gotta go to
Ugh.
school, get made fun of because you're not living the same situation that everybody
I
else
do
is
not
living.
miss that
Might
shit.
not have no car, all that. All of them is factors that is going
I
to
don't
affect
understand
you.
what's your
You might not have what I want to say, ingested it or took it like that.
Mm-hmm.
But there, I can name the 100. I can name the other 290 motherfuckers that was in them projects that think a whole lot different.
Yeah, and
And if that's the case,
hold on, time out.
if that's the case,
Well, now-
then why do motherfuckers? Name me a motherfucker that been in the project ever since we was younger. Why would you even move out?
Listen,
But I know
They tore motherfuckers down.
When we
98%
moved out, listen,
motherfuckers
They
that's
tore
in projects
motherfuckers down.
that
We
look
moved out
to
when I
move
was
out
like
as
13.
soon as
Man, you gotta
possible.
read
we
the
moved out when I
comments.
was 13, and that was a rejoice for me when we moved out the project.
Look, Brandy just said it.
What Brandy say?
She said we thought we was doing big things when we moved out the projects into a house.
Thank you.
Period.
Thank you. And this is one of my projects.
This
is one of my
like I
That's a
said,
common thought.
like I said,
That's a common thought.
I moved out when I was young. I went back when I was 13. I used to go back there to hang out.
I went back.
You know what I'm saying?
back
And
there,
so
I still
I went
was-
back there to hang out, and the people who I hung out with are still my dear friends to this day.
Yeah, nothing
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And so,
nothing to do with friends.
but no, it ain't. But just because you living in a certain area
Look.
doesn't mean
Yolanda, read off
what Yolanda say. That's not.
I always lived at home, but when I went to visit my cousins in the projects, especially
Maya Park.
I had to fight.
I had to fight. This is you coming from my house when we
But
met
that's
the project.
everywhere.
The whole situation.
Leland like being-
I'll be right back.
Leland like-
That's everywhere.
You like being blind.
Hold on, time out.
You
No,
like
how?
being blind.
Because a nigga want to make up an excuse for their behavior. Take responsibility for your behavior, and don't blame nobody else.
I'm not blaming anybody.
And so don't blame that you grew up in the projects and then that you was off balance and your behavior was fucked up.
I was off balance and I'm great now.
Okay, then you
I'm
take
a great
responsibility
guy.
for that.
I was off balance when I lived in the projects. I didn't know what was wrong.
So what taught you right from wrong?
My motherfucking self.
Okay, you take responsibility for
My
that.
parents tried to.
So
but
take,
I also
you have to take
you are trying to make it
responsibility for
something that it's
both.
not.
What are you talking about?
Leland,
You trying to say like everybody that live in the projects was fucked up? Everybody from the project. That's what you saying.
Hey, the project niggas don't come out. I ain't say that. All you niggas still my homies. I ain't say nothing. Man, what is this nigga say?
Because he's on that. He's on that, man. Look.
These my people.
Look, man. Check this out. Check this out.
Go ahead.
Do you know how many parents out there cannot control their children because their children are influenced by the living situations around them, bro?
Yes.
That's just big fact. So what are you
That's
talking
a fact.
about?
But those living situations ain't just tied to the projects. That's my point. Those living situations.
You in the projects for?
Those living situations.
Let's talk about the people that created the project.
When he said living in the projects, living in the projects definitely affect you.
I think that was going to affect us.
Those living situations happen outside of the projects.
Go to the front door of the project.
I didn't grow up in the projects. I still had to deal with them issues.
Do you think these people threw us in these projects because they didn't think it was going to affect the way we live, the way we act, how we do things? You don't think they knew that?
They caged us like animals.
Well, hold on.
They caged us in the community.
You don't
like
think
animals.
that gentrification, when they push us away from each other, it affects the way that we deal with each other?
I'm aware of that.
Let's go to the front.
I'm aware of that.
Problem.
Okay, so
you
for example, hold on TV.
You will act.
Hold on TV.
On our whole motherfucking race,
TV.
bro.
No, I'm not.
Everybody don't think like Leland.
Y'all can't make.
Everybody don't think like motherfucking Leland, bro.
That means that it goes that
you might say it don't.
And I'm not saying it. I'm being biased in it.
Shout out to Lamar.
You can be biased. That's what I'm saying, but you can't say everybody.
I'm being
unbiased.
Because the numbers show.
This one of your homeboys. I know you know L. He from 38. He said environment is everything. Lamar Jackson.
I promise.
Environment is everything.
This is a scientific fact that you become product of your environment unless you.
Now I'm not. Now hold on, time out.
That's scientific.
Hold on, time out.
Scientific.
I'm not unaware. I'm not unaware. I'm not unaware of that. Okay, so but the house that I grew up in,
exactly, Janice.
I went through the same thing.
Want to leave the projects if it was the same as living in the neighborhood and the house.
The neighborhood,
they still be there today.
The neighborhood that I lived in, I went through the same thing. I went through the exact same thing.
But
these are facts.
When the hoods start kicking in. That's more when the gangs start kicking in. That's what I'm saying. It's a lot of
everything is a project.
There's a lot of factors that's doing it in Section 8 areas.
No, you don't know, sir. My dad bought that house. My dad bought that house. That wasn't a section. I grew up in a white neighborhood. I grew up in a middle class neighborhood. And my dad bought that house. It wasn't no Section 8 area.
But you can't.
You're mistaken, sir. You're mistaken, sir. I'm sorry.
No, in your situation, I was mistaken.
But I still went through the same. I still went through the same thing.
I know when we moved into a house.
There's no I in.
Hey, but I want to say what I'm saying. We live by you.
Some I shit,
I live by you too. And when we moved into a house, we still was on Section 8. It was still a controlled environment.
Of course.
Period. And you won't accept that.
What are you talking about? Well, listen, this is all I know.
Talking about redlining.
Listen.
Talking about how they had us in these controlled environments.
This is the only thing that I can say is that my dad purchased that house. When I lived in that house where you lived at, it was all white people when I was growing up. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, time out. It didn't become
the project.
Niggas.
I moved right before they got
hold on, time out. Hold on, time out. When you moved in there, you was fucking grown. You know what I'm saying? You were 15, 16 years old. I grew up in that neighborhood since I was 2 years old, and there was white people in that neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? My neighbors all the way down to Noodle's house.
It makes white people sound like they're the...
I don't make white people sound like shit. I'm talking about it's the middle class. You talking about it with Section 8. What the fuck are you talking about?
Because they're white?
No, because that what the neighborhood was. And we used to beef with white people. We used to fight white boys all day, every day. All day, every day. You know what I'm saying? And I got individuals.
So the white people was middle class?
I'm not saying that they was middle class.
Ain't no poor white people?
But fuck yeah, there's more poor white people than black people.
So it's most likely the white people that live in your neighborhood is poor too, right?
That neighborhood, when we moved there, it was middle class. That's just a fact. I can't make that up.
Middle class because it wasn't a project.
What make you think it's not?
Hey, I feel like
because it wasn't the project. Just because a nigga living there.
Hey,
Just because a nigga living there,
we want to say we appreciate y'all today.
Just because a nigga,
we appreciate y'all today, man. Great show, guys. Y'all did y'all thing.
Hold on, man.
Shout out to Long Beach.
We still got 7 minutes.
Hey, man. If y'all want to go for 7 more minutes, God.
Man, you got to be reading comments, man.
This nigga been screaming at me the whole show.
No, I didn't. I just started screaming right now, probably like 5 minutes ago.
Screaming and spitting on me the whole show.
I respect it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to get guards next week because this nigga spreading the corona. This nigga, I
get on you some ginger tea.
Listen, dog. Your point is somewhat
in the building. What's up, Shake?
This nigga just said he was sick for 3 days.
She said, bro, stress.
No, I'm ready. Because he like, I'm like, dog, like, can we have a conversation?
This is a conversation. We shopping. You know what I'm saying? Shit.
And that's us. Us as, man, don't get me wrong. And this is part of our problem.
Go ahead.
And we're such a high energy people that we didn't get to the point to where we're offended by a person's energy level of emotion. And it's cool. We know we all love each other. We fuck with each other, man. I'm not worried about what Leland thinks. Yeah, Leland could be real violent. Not violent, but biased. You know what I'm saying?
Biased.
But I know where his heart is at.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I know where his focus is at. And he mean good, his intentions is good, my intentions is good, your intentions is good.
For sure.
And we want the people to know that. Like, we not arguing for real. We got
no, you know what I'm saying? Shit, we about to go smoke a square.
It's just, we gotta, what we call it?
Discourse.
A discourse. He know it. It's
you know what I'm saying? This is a discourse. You got some men here that's having a conversation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What I personally want y'all to embrace is my rawness. When I come on here, I'm being genuine. I'm being raw. I'm giving you. What Brandy say? I'm being raw. I'm not being fake. I'm not doing shit just for y'all.
Right.
I'm not doing shit for nobody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Ain't no politically correct.
This is our platform. You know what I'm saying?
And when you say our platform, you mean everybody in this room. These comments, everything.
Yeah, we appreciate all y'all coming in.
This is going to the world. This is bigger than just Omaha. This is going to everybody on all platforms, on YouTube. So when we read y'all comments off, y'all are us. We are y'all. That's why we read y'all comments.
Man, y'all, listen. You know what I'm saying? If y'all want to see me in another form, I put a camera while I'm at work tomorrow. And I guarantee you ain't gonna be inebriated. But you see me drinking, and cause this is what I do. You know what I'm saying?
Got a show
I get with my guys, I fuck with my guys, and
we're gonna
this
do
is
the T's
raw
and the J's.
form.
We got a show coming up with the T's and the J's. I'm telling y'all cannot miss that. We haven't came up with a specific day, but it should happen this week. I'm telling y'all to sit LV and TV down with my mama and my 2 sisters. They got their own little podcast as well. When I
shout it out, give the name.
T's and the J's.
T and the J's.
Yes, and they have a little podcast as well. But I'm telling y'all, when we sit down, these are 3 black, hard-headed, strong women. And when we sit down with them, I guarantee you, it's going to have to be security for Leland and my mom. My mom, I'm going to make sure my mom ain't...
the camera so she can watch you quit.
I got to make sure my mom ain't got a strap. I make sure my mom ain't got the pistol that day because she be tripping.
I can't wait to call y'all.
I gotta wait to see this show, man. It's going to be a good show. We're going to have topics catered to gender roles and things like that. But it's going to be something we're going to just talk about with the ladies, the T's and the J's. Make sure y'all tune into that. Make sure y'all like and share this video. Brandy.
Salute,
hey, listen, good looking. You know what I'm saying? We fuck with y'all. We love y'all. I can't get to the comments. You know what I'm saying? We can't get to the comments.
Well, it's hard for me to read off comments in the middle of a full-blown argument. I can sit here like this, dog. These niggas is wild.
What do you want us to do?
Well, anyway, make sure y'all tune in.
What the fuck you want us to do?
We'll keep y'all updated on the T's and the J's with the smartest dumb people when it happens.
And make sure y'all go. Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
No, you're right.
No, T and the J's. Go ahead.
Drop them one more time before I get you up out of here.
Go ahead. Make sure y'all get. Hold on. Let me get it up.
Low sodium. No sodium. I think it is.
Low sodium. It got a little sodium. Get that joint. There you go. That's my guy, Mike Mo. Make sure y'all tap in. Harambe Jackson
and Brian
Bone.
Brian Bone. So make sure y'all tune in. We'll see y'all in a few days.
Smart y'all people. Remember that I come
can I just do my ending spiel because it's supposed to look professional.
You should have been gone,
do my ending spiel. He start talking.
Damn, nigga, you should have been off the camera.
Make sure y'all tune in, subscribe, like and subscribe to our YouTube page, As Smart as Dumb People. I'm Anthony That Dude Johnson, LV the Great, Mr. Shabazz himself. Y'all have a great night.
Love y'all for sure. We might have to get something else.